This is my quilt back. I just have it laid out like this. On my long arm, I have a King Quilter 2. How I load this onto my frame. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is kind of move my backing to a side here. I'm going to use, this is the, I think this is called the belly bar. I'm not really for sure. And I'm going to loosen this up. And how I do that is kind of pop this up, and it loosens up right here. That way I can turn it. I'm going to turn it all the way like this and put it, and put it over this other bar like this. Make sure I get everything all lined up. Get my, if I have any loose strings, threads, I'll go ahead and get those while I'm at it. Okay. I do have zippers on here, but I don't really use those very much. But what I'm going to do is look for the center of my backing. So here is the center. I'm going to make a crease. And then I'm going to go get my pins. I just purchased these pins from Handy Quilter. Now I'm going to go ahead and use those. It's the first time I used these pins. I heard they were really good for long arming. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I need to get one of those, which I'm going to take off my, I'm just going to put it on my magnet here. Tighten that up. So I don't poke myself here. Just put a few. Okay. So I have this. Oh, there's my mark for my center. And I already have my leader marked here. Where'd I put that again? Ah, here it is, right here. And I'm just gonna kind of straighten my backing out and mark it this way. Okay. What I do is start in the center, and I'll go to my left, just kind of eyeball it. Quite a few pins in there. But I make sure that the edge goes with the edge of my backing. Get a pretty good little bite out of it there. And then for my end, what I like to do is go the opposite way. It gives a little bit more strength here, and I kind of weave it in on the end to give us a good strength. And then I go to the other side. I'm going to go to the back of my long arm, and what I do here is put these, okay. What I do here is pretty much the same thing to where I'll loosen that up. There we go, loosen it up. I pull all the way out. I kind of start in the middle. I go down under the bar here and go over. There's two bars here, right here and right here. I go under and over. Start in the middle, and then I kind of work my way to the sides. So that's hanging down. Now I grab my backing. I do the same thing with making a mark in the center. You can put a pin in this or however you want to do it. And I have my mark, and I also have my center mark on my leader grips, or sorry, the cloth leaders. I'm gonna go ahead and stick a pin right here, and then I'll straighten it out. Okay, once I get done with that, I will go ahead and drop this. And notice it's behind the bar right here. That's where we want it to be, behind the bar. Then I'm going to go ahead and drop this, so it's like in between, cascading down. So in order to get this rolled up, what I do is, since that's already loosened up, I'm gonna just roll it. While I'm rolling it, I'm gonna go ahead and straighten these out to make sure they're all nice and straight. My long arm's in the way on this one, but that's okay. The quilt's not that big, so. And just kind of roll it up like this, making sure everything is straight and even. I'll kind of go like smooth out my backing while I'm rolling it, making sure that these don't get too wonky, the edges here. And as you smooth them, then you'll see that you can get them to line up again. This side seems to want to do it more. If you notice this, it goes down. Probably because the bottom's not lined up as much. So that is all loosened up. What I'm going to do is go ahead and loosen this, the back one, and I'm going to roll this back to get that all even here. Oh, I forgot to take off this bar. I usually take off this bar after I get done putting the backing on, just because it's easier. And rolling these up, I'm making sure that I've got my edges nice and straight. Okay. And whenever you long arm, you start at the top of the backing. So I'm going to roll it all the way up to the top, and where the top edge is at the bottom of that bar. Same thing here. I'm going to smooth this out as I roll. Okay, so I think that's good. I'm going to tighten up my bars so where they'll stay where I want them to stay. Okay, so they're nice and tight, and that's kind of, see, it's kind of taut on here. It's not too bad, you know, I can still pinch it, but it's enough to where it'll be good and tight for the batting, or the front and the batting. So what I do for the batting is I take my batting and I lay it on top of, because what I do is float my quilts, and you don't want to pull this too much. You just want to kind of smooth it. If you pull, it'll do like this, and I think this happened whenever I opened the packaging. So you just want to smooth it. Now that I have my batting on here, I just laid it on top here. I'm going to grab the front of my quilt, and I'm going to go ahead and mark the center of the front. So what I'm going to do is baste the top and the sides so they'll be nice and even. They won't shift or move around on me while I'm working with the quilt. My last step to load it is I did purchase some quilt clips from the Grace Company. I'm going to go ahead and open these, and it's my first time using this, so we'll see how it goes. And it's supposed to keep this part nice and tight for you, so that way you can quilt the quilt. Okay. And this is not my normal batting, so it's a little bit thicker than what I normally get. So they didn't have the kind I normally get at the store, so. Good. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so roll this up. And while I'm rolling it up, I'm going to smooth it out to make sure that it's nice and even. It's not like more on one side than the other. I'm also going to get any lint build up that I have. And I'm going to roll up this one as well, the back. do the same thing there, make sure it's all even. Sometimes you have to roll and re-roll in order to get it right and nice and straight. So there's basically what it looks like. Remember, I had to piece together my backing. Whenever I quilt this, you won't be able to see that very much from the other side. So I like the way this looks. It's a little bit, about 1.5 inches, something like that, from the bar to the end or to the edge of the top of the backing. So I'm going to go and lock my rollers. Make sure everything's tight. Now I'm going to what we call float the batting. So the middle part. And it's my Franken batting from last week. Like any lint, remove any lint, anything like that. Now you can either baste the top of your batting or do like I do, is once I put the batting down, then I'll go ahead and put the top of my quilt on top of this. That's when I'll baste down the top and the sides. You don't want to go all the way to the top of the backing. See, there's my backing. There's like a 1.5 inches, something like that, from my bar to my batting. From my bar to my backing. And then I have my batting on top of that. And then my quilt top is about 1 inch from the top of the backing. So that way I can get I can quilt all of it, including the top row right up here. This is called floating the quilt. What I like to do, once I get my long arm ready to go, I baste the top, which means I usually do about a 1/2 inch stitch across the very top, and then a 1/2 inch stitch across on the sides. And what that does, it keeps the top from shrinking as you're quilting it, and because it just stays. Now once I get everything all quilted on this quilt, I will take out that batting. I will take out that basting stitch. I'm not sure if I said batting before, but I meant a basting stitch, sorry. I'll take out the basting stitch, and since it's a 1/4 or a 1/2 inch stitch, it's really easy just to get out with your scissors, little nippers, or seam ripper, either way. But so I've got this all ready to go, but I do have one more thing that I usually do for mine to make sure it's nice and straight. Just kind of pop it down. Usually pop one side down first, and then I go for the next one. It's nice and snug, and it keeps this nice and taut. So I'll do, since this one's, I have 4 of these. Since this one's a full-size quilt, or a twin size or whatever, I'll probably just use 2 of these. So that's all I'll need for this quilt. And once I do my basting stitch, it'll be nice and taut and ready to quilt. For my sides, I have this, I can't even remember where I got these from. I'll put a link below of where I got these. But it's better than just using the clamps, because if I just use the clamps, it'll pull this way and it'll pull this up here. But this kind of has an even pull from a large width right here. So it goes from here to here. So I don't get the top of the quilt. I usually get just the sides with the backing and the batting, and that's why you need extra of those. Pulls tight. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'll do the other side as well, but I'm gonna show you what this looks like. Okay. And there's the quilt, nice and tight, ready to be quilted on the long arm. It's a little bit wrinkly. I may take this off and go ahead and iron this again. I've had it out for a little bit, so it needs to be ironed some more, but I'll probably put a design, a pantograph like throughout the whole, from edge to edge. And I'll show you what it looks like when I get done. And that's it. Thanks for watching while I went ahead and loaded my quilt onto my frame. If you have any questions on that or anything, just let me know in the comments below. Next week, on my next video, I will go ahead and quilt this. I'll show you how I do the pantograph and back. And then we'll be able to get this quilt done, and I will probably, with this one, I'll put it on my website to sell. So I'll put that link in the description box below if you want to check out my website. And I have a few more things that I'm going to be adding to that hopefully this week, and hopefully this pattern as well, if I can get that done. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Bye.